Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt today with running solo box to box. Uh, Brought to you by Boom Fantasy and Pickett, as always. Thanks to the sponsors. Appreciate you guys. Um, Running a solo show, I will keep an eye on the chat. So if you guys have questions or we want to talk about certain games, I'm willing to bounce around. I think I'll start today with the earliest kickoff that I'm interested in, and that would be the Dortmund and Leipzig match. So this is a good one. Should be a lot of goals. I think. Want to see these lineups, of course, but I do expect fireworks in this one. Pulling up right now, Dortmund at home on the money line plus 120, draw plus 250, and Leipzig's plus 210. Looking at both teams to score, minus 205. That's obviously super juiced. All these lines are going to be on FanDuel, by the way. But I do think that's a decent look as a parlay piece if you're looking to do a same game parlay. Over 2.5 goals is another solid look, and that gets it into playable range. I think I like this bet here at minus 130. I'll probably shop that around as well. That's probably the safest thing to safest way to attack this game without having the lineups. Obviously, we will get those after a while here, and then we could swing back to this game and look at the player props. But a lot of guys in form in this one, and I do think it'll be a fun one. So uh, I'll definitely have a flutter or two on this. I think without seeing the lineups and just looking at some projected ones, uh, Holler, of course, is a great target for a goal. Marco Royce back at the side. Bellingham rested, so you think he would jump in there. He'll be dynamic. Doesn't Christopher Nkunku start? That's another huge question. If he does start, I think he could give that back line some trouble as well. So yeah, I will circle back once that is official. But without seeing lineups and everything else, I think just a general way to attack it is both teams score and over 2.5 goals. Um, let's go back here to the slate. We got over in Italy today a really nice matchup between Napoli and Lazio. Uh, this is another one. Napoli just keep on rolling. I think they should be able to have enough to get past Lazio. Immobile is pretty off form. He's going through a rough patch right now. I would recommend staying away from his goal. I know his the price on it isn't too bad. Right now, looking at it, you're almost 2 to 1 on an Immobile goal. You would never have gotten those kind of prices last year. So I think that's reflective of where he's at right now. I will say there's a talented player in there, and he will score a goal again. That I am sure. But I don't think I'm going to be the one holding the ticket right now because I think I bet on him 3 times in February, and he left me at the altar every time. So I will calmly just sit on the sidelines with him and let somebody else be right and try to guess when that time is. On the Napoli side of things, you got to look at Oshiman. He's just outstanding. He's going to win the Golden Boot in Italy. His price is about even, maybe a slight juice. I will be on that goal. It's hard not to. He's a machine, and they funnel a lot of their attacks through him. So, of course, Kvitschka is in fantastic form as well. Seems like he's scoring or assisting every game, and his price for a goal is starting to trickle down. It's all the way down to like plus 140 kind of territory. Again, these are FanDuel odds. I don't have the luxury right now of shopping a bunch of them, so I will look around and try to find the best value and send that thing out. But his assist, always a good look. Again, it's one that you need to shop around because assist market tends to have probably the widest variance. Um, Yesterday I was on a Modric assist. Unfortunately, didn't cash, but you could get it for 650 on one book and 200 on another. So, for that big of a gap, it's definitely worth shopping around, finding that best price. But Kabishka assist, Chucky Lozano assist, also another good look if he's starting on that right wing. He's been in pretty good form as well. I will have drink pauses just to keep the whistle wet. But looking at it here, I think Napoli will win the game. Just the general odds on the popular market. We got Napoli minus 175 on the money line, a draw plus 280. Lazio almost 5-1. If you think they can pull an upset here, but I think the play is probably some sort of combination of a Napoli win with an Osimhen goal. That win cast is a nice way to play it. I think it's pretty good. The Napoli team total, they'll probably score in the first half. They are a fast starting team. Let's look at the halftime markets here, just to make sure I'm not giving you anything that's too crazy here. The home team in the first half. That's just the game. Home team first half. Come on. Sorry, I am keep clicking it and it is popping up the wrong thing. So home team first half over. Yeah, minus 142. Don't love that value. That might be something I shop around as well. But their total team total goals 132 for over 1.5 in the game. I think that's a decent look as well. It's correlated with an Osimhen goal, obviously. I think there's going to be plenty of ways to attack this. And it'll be something I can circle back to once we have the official lineup. But I would be very surprised if we don't see Kubichka on the left flank like normal and Osimhen through the middle. Looking over in Spain, we've got Sociedad and Cadiz. Let's take a look at the odds on this. Obviously, would lean Sociedad here. They're in really good form right now. I think. Well, not form is relative, but they're I will say position in the table. They're accumulating points. They're not necessarily in sparkling form when you look at their recent results, but overall in the course of the season, they've been solid. Cadiz look like they will hopefully be able to survive, but they still are well within range of the bottom. So points will always be a premium. I'm sure they'll try to slow things down a little bit. Looking at matchups, I would say under goals here. I think is probably the play. Under 2.5 would be my lean. Let me get the Dortmund stuff out of my bet slip here and move over to La Liga to get that in here. It is like Sociedad to win and under 2.5. That's plus 170. I think that's a decent one-man show. Yes, Sam, it's just me today, brother. Kind of rolling through things, trying to find some value. Oaks had some power issues, so just me today. Hopefully, we can find a little bit of value, and we get some things bounce our way. But yeah, I do lean Sociedad, and I do lean the under here. I do think Cadiz will struggle to score. Unders is almost always the play in these Sociedad matches. If once we get the lineups, that'll come out at 2 goal scorers that I would be looking for. Kubo's been in good form for them. That would be a potential look. Sorloth, if he's starting, he's about starts every other game or so, but I think he's a decent look as well to score. But again, we'll circle back once we have lineups. Looking at the rest of the day, Benfica play later. I think Benfica should be able to roll. Let me see the odds in this one. Probably going to have to get creative if you want to play Benfica. Yeah, minus 750 on the money line. Excuse me, is obviously not a playable look, but you could look for team total I think is a decent look here. Um, pull up the market so I can actually give you a price or a look on here. Uh, home team total. Yeah, over 2.5 goals is about even money. That's what I was kind of thinking in my head. I would be in a playable range. Ramos, Mario, of course, would be great looks to score. Um, Musa, Neres, these guys sometimes start and sometimes provide value. Rafa is always a threat as well, but right now it seems like the goals will be coming from either Mario or well, I forgot. I think maybe they could potentially get one out of uh, Gonzalo Guedes. He moved back there from Wolves. I know he wasn't really happy in England. He's been coming on a lot, and um, so if they go with Ramos from the start, I will probably be on him to score and Benfica to win. But a nice safe look without having the lineups. And that one we won't have lineups until way later because I think that one kicks off at like 4:15. Yeah, so that's one to circle back on. But yeah, for me, I almost always play Ramos to score when Benfica play, and he usually gets a couple shots on target. We don't normally get shots on target in the Portuguese league. Most books don't offer it, but he's a big threat in the air as well, and potentially could score from a header. But we don't get those luxury props in the Portuguese league. You just kind of have to take what you get. So yep, we'll circle back there. Benfica team total though is I think a pretty good look. Looking at the rest of the slate today, let me scroll down. I won't have any looks in the Nice and Auxerre match. I would think Nice will win. They've been in pretty good form over in France. Won 4 of the last 5. The money line is of around -150. I think if you just have an appetite to play that game, that would be probably my safest look. I do think uh, they will beat Auxerre, but Auxerre are unbeaten in 4, so they found a nice little run of form here. That's why I'm just not going to touch the game probably. Um, Lineups. If you want to play a goal scorer, Matkafee had a couple goals against Monaco in Nice's last match. He's probably the hot hand. I would assume he's starting, and you could play him for a goal. Let's take a peek at the price to make sure it's not something crazy in the minus territory because he should be good plus money for a goal. Take a peek. Plus 100 on FanDuel. I bet you can find a better price. So Sam in the chat says that's going to be a cash money on Matkafee. So yeah, I mean that would be my one and only prop look. But we'll circle back once we have lineups. Just wait, no, okay. I was looking at something else. Looking here, Hull and West Brom in the championship. This is just a mid-table clash that doesn't really get me too excited here. West Brom potentially could go there and get a result, but I don't really trust them right now. Let's look at the goal scorer market and just see. Obviously, you'd want to see lineups before locking anything in. DK is plus 200 for a goal. The American striker, that's a decent little shout. Carlin Grant's their normal center forward, so him at plus 155, potentially a shout as well. But yeah, probably just a full stay away on that game for me. Looking deeper down the slate, I got to get reminded that Melbourne lost and McLaren didn't score, so the overnight play did not cash. That was a bummer. I might just have to cool it on the Australian league. That used to be just like set it and forget it, but he doesn't seem like uh, he's hitting at as consistently as he was, and the price is not as juicy as it used to be. So I may cool off on that market. But let's go to the action tomorrow on Saturday and kind of run through this. I'm going to take a quick drink. All right. So we got Man City hosting Newcastle to kick things off in England early. This fascinating matchup. I would say unders would be my play. This is a game, Man City have really been struggling to hit the highs. Like, yes, they do have a performance in them. Sometimes they can really turn on the style, but this season it's been more pragmatic, more defensive. Newcastle are a stone cold under team. You look at their recent results, a lot of 0-0s in there and stuff like that. So I would say unders, and you're going to get decent value because people never want to bet unders in a Man City game. But looking at the price, Man City on the money line at home minus 200, the draw plus 330, and Newcastle plus 550 if you're interested in taking a pop. I think there is a decent chance that, like I said, this game stays under 2.5 goals. That is plus money at plus 116. I think this is a game that Newcastle will just kind of park the bus and try to frustrate, play a very low block, try to deny service into Holland. And if one of the wingers or midfielders can beat them from distance, then so be it. I want to double check if Nick Pope is back for this one or not. I know he was suspended. Let me double check this. He's important in net. Obviously, Karius had to play for them in the cup match, cup final against United. That didn't go very well. He didn't have a disaster of a game, but he is certainly not of the same quality of a Nick Pope. And I want to double. Let me see. Well, I'm not Premier League, and I'll circle back to that. But yeah, lineups. Of course, people will always want to play a Holland goal. I would advise just waiting until it gets the plus money. Newcastle will not be adventurous. They will, like I said, they'll park the bus. They will play a low block and a Holland goal. If he doesn't score in the first 15 to 20 minutes, it should creep towards plus money, and then fire if you would be so inclined. But for me, early kickoffs are always difficult. You never really get great attacking games. Of course, Man City are plenty capable of doing it, but yeah, you got a perfect mix of a defensive team in Newcastle, a early kickoff. I would say unders would be the play for me. Yeah, we'll circle back. I do think Newcastle are live for a draw in that match, but City probably find a way to get this win. Probably win it 1-0, maybe even win it 2-0 if they can grab another goal. But I'm pretty comfortable playing the unders there. So let's look at the next bit of games here. Back one. Arsenal take on Bournemouth. This should be a pretty straightforward win for the Gunners. Bournemouth are a pretty good team, but not great. Arsenal should be able to cut them open. It's at home at the Emirates. Great. Saka's in great form. Martinelli's in great form. Trossard as a kind of false nine has looked good. I know Gabriel Jesus is close to coming back as well. He'll be like a new signing, as Arsene Wenger used to always say. But for me, without obviously having lineups or anything else, I'm going to probably be on Martinelli to score again. Just he's in such good form, playing with a ton of confidence. And how do you not try to take Saka again? The shots are or the balls are bouncing his way a little bit. As long as Bournemouth, and they're not really a cynical side where they'll just hack the heck out of him. I think he should enjoy himself. Yeah, Arsenal, the money line, obviously not playable, minus 490. But team goals could be a nice way to play it. Hopefully, we've come out of our little funk, and a 4 goal performance will certainly have the confidence high. I think team total, gosh, 1.5 is 390. You got to go all the way up to Arsenal to get 3 goals. I would say yes. I'd lean yes on Arsenal to score 3 goals in against Bournemouth, but I think it might be better off just attacking the player prop market, trying to find that goal scorer, because sometimes teams are happy to just pack it up, and Bournemouth may do that if they fall 2-0 down. I expect them to have a little bit better fight than Everton did on the other day. So Villa Palace, this is a tough one to get your head around. It's another mid-table clash here. I Palace just aren't scoring enough goals. I don't think they'll go there and win. They're on the back of 3 draws. Villa did just pick up a win in their last match, so my lean is Villa at home. Ollie Watkins has been in pretty good form, so that would be a look for me without seeing the lineups. Of course, I think given it's Wilf Zaha might be back for this, so that may change some things, give them a little bit more of a goal threat. But yeah, I right now I would lean Villa and get that plus money on the money line, plus 105 or so. I think if that sticks around come Saturday morning, that might be one that ends up in the account. So next up, we've got Brighton and West Ham. So West Ham did just have a nice win, but Brighton have been the better team this season. You look at their form; they've accumulated 12 more points at this point of the season than West Ham. But I still think West Ham have a better squad. This is a tough one for me. I don't want to jump in here and back West Ham on the road in this spot, but I'm not entirely confident Brighton get the win. Fun game for some props potentially. Mitoma, Bowen, both guys probably have a shot on target in this match. Looking at the Mitoma shot on target, Danny Ings, of course, I would think he retains his place. Like he is more of a goal threat. Obviously, not as good at pressing and running and harassing as Antonio, but he can score goals, which is why you're up there. So, yeah, I'll say Matoma and Bowen shot on target as like a nice little 2-leg parlay. I would be pretty surprised if they don't start, but that's plus 158. That's a nice little way to attack it. Should be an open and fun game. I think both teams will score. So that's again, maybe when you just play the props, don't try to get too cute on the side. But my lean would be Brighton, just a small lean. Let's look at the next one: Chelsea and Leeds. This is a fun game. Chelsea, gosh, terrible form. Leeds, not much better. But Chelsea at the bridge, I would think if they're going to score a goal, gosh, it's got to happen in this game. Like, I mean, this Leeds defense is pretty suspect. So lineup dependent, like always. The Leeds, the back line isn't as fleet of foot, and so I think if I'm Potter, maybe I I, I think you got to play Sterling if he's healthy to try to run in behind. Um, Kai Havertz. I don't love betting on him, but he at this point in his career, like I just think he is better than a Aubameyang. So I you can't start a Aubameyang here. I think he's much more of a super sub role. Felix, if he's starting, he's always a good look to get some shots on target. He's not afraid to take a pop. I'm assuming he would start. I'd be pretty surprised if they don't throw him on from the start. He is the favorite to have a shot on target minus 470. So you got to kind of shop that around. But yeah, I mean Potter's got a tough time here to figure out what lineup works best. Obviously Enzo's going to be in that midfield, but who's the best partner for him? I've heard Conte is wanting to sign another contract, but I just can't take Chelsea here at home. As crazy as that sounds, minus 155 is not a price I'm willing to pay for a team that just doesn't score enough goals. But and plus they're going to be missing Thiago Silva. We already know Conte is out long term, but I can't trust him. I really, really can't trust him right now. And Kepa in goal. They need Mendy back in the worst way. Kepa is a pretty average keeper. I'm still surprised his price tag was as high as it was. But without lineups, if Sterling's in, he's interesting for me. I think I would like to play some Sterling props because I think Felix can find him with some through balls. Mudryk, obviously they spent a ton of money on him. Maybe he's got that left wing for a few more games, but I don't know. Chelsea just not at this price, not too interested in it. On the Leeds side of things, Ruder played in the cup. He had a lot of good moves, got some shots off. Gives them a different dynamic to Bamford, who's more of a kind of fox in the box. I'm not ready to back him yet or bet on him, but I do think that Wilfred Nyoto could give them some trouble, give that backline some trouble, especially with Thiago Silva not in there. I like his pace and his craftiness. If they stick him on the left wing, he's got to deal with Reece James, which is a really tough matchup. I think Reece James is the best right back in the league, but maybe tuck him in a little bit and let it kind of play him in a free roll middle of the park. I think he could give them some trouble. So I don't know. We'll see. Revisit that tomorrow, of course. Wolves and Spurs. I mean, Spurs. What can you say? They also really struggle. This is an unders game for me, without even having to worry about lineups or anything. Looking at it right now, under 2.5 goals, minus 132. I think that's a good play. This is to me, I think 1-1 or something of that nature. This game screams. The tie's plus 230. The 1-1 exact score. Let me take a look at that. Plus 550. Maybe shop that around. I don't know. This game screams boring. Spurs can't create goals. Wolves can't either. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty boring kick around, and we've got four other matches going in that time slot. So I think that one is probably the least intriguing of them all. But yeah, I revisit it. Of course, Kane. You never know. I mean, Kane's his price to score plus 135. I mean, you almost got to play Kane goals because he's such a funnel. But like, I'd be tempted to just wait. Maybe take it live at halftime when it's like plus 250 or something. Because if it's 135 now, you should get a good price a little later. Southampton and Leicester. I do think Leicester will probably go to Southampton and get the win. I'm willing to take some money here on plus 160. Southampton, um, they just aren't inspiring right now. They struggle to score. Leicester are open, and they could be the recipe, but Southampton are going to go down this year. Goals being the main reason why they can't do it. So whoever is playing up top for Leicester, whether it be Barty or Iniacho, I like one of those guys to probably score. Barnes, coming in from the left always is dangerous. If Mads is healthy and is playing in this, then you almost have to take Mads. He's in such good form as well. Just a really bad snake bitten injury season for him, but definitely the best player at Leicester. I'd be surprised if he's still there next year. But yeah, if Mads is in, maybe Mads for a goal, Mads for an assist. Looking over in Spain on Saturday, I'm just going to skip to the slate's a little duty. I mean, you got Atletico and Sevilla. Years ago, this was a banger of a match. Right now, less so. I mean, Madrid are Atleti are holding on to that Champions League spot. I think they will hold off Betis. I know Betis lost uh, Nabil Fekir for the rest of the season, so that's one of their main creative players. And I think Atleti are just strong enough to grind it out. They'll probably grind out Sevilla here, who have been better as of late, but still, I don't see them going in and turning in much of a performance. I think Griezmann, decent look for an assist or a goal if he's playing. I know that Molina's suspended, so that would mean maybe Carrasco kind of comes in. He in that left back when he's playing a wing back, he tends to really get forward, send in some good crosses. If Morata is in there, he could potentially play a Carrasco assist because he does have a nice delivery. Or Thomas Lamar if he's outside. I don't know. The Madrid lineup's tough to guess. Simeone he's very capable of changing things around. So, and yeah, Mandava, man, he did his ACL. That was pretty bad. If you watch that, you could hear him screaming. That was a rough sight. So, a little bit banged up, but I think that's the way I would still play it is Athletic to get it done because I don't see Rakitic and company, Navas and these guys being able to break them down. Yeah. So look over in Germany. Let me look at the matchups and see if I see anything that catches my eye in the early slate. Nothing too crazy. The matchups don't necessarily get you too excited. Um, Later on in the day, Stuttgart they host Bayern. Let's take a look at the prices in that game. Obviously, Choupo-Moting in really good form. He's a good look to get a goal against Stuttgart here, who have a pretty leaky defense. Excuse me. They've conceded 38 goals here in 22 games. So I think first half is always a fun way to attack uh, Bayern because they tend to get their business done early and take care of it. I know Choupo-Moting, like I mentioned, been in good form. Just signed a contract extension, so he'll be there another year. Mane has come off the bench. He's in contention to start this one too. So if Mane is starting, I'm going to be looking at playing him for a goal, but I'll definitely be playing his shots because he is desperate to put this little injury behind him, and you know he's going to be firing. We'll say that he'll be very very aggressive. Looking at it, I wonder if they even put him in from the start. But yeah, if he's subbing in, we don't have his shots on target here on FanDuel right now, so they do have his goal listed. Shots on target market's always interesting. Uh, there's value up and down the team. Kimmich plus 105. You look at down a little bit farther. Goretzka plus 120. That'll have decent value as well. He tends to get forward pretty well. Stuttgart will be pinned in for large parts of this match. So the midfield taking some shots from distance is always, I think, a good look. But yeah, for me, goals, Choupo-Moting, don't really overthink it. Plus 105, maybe find a better price out there. I think could be the way to play it. In Italy, we've got Fiorentina and Milan, probably the best matchup of the day there. Milan have been in a decent little run here. They've won 3 in a row. So I Fiorentina at home, though, are a pretty tough side. I think I need to see the lineups before I commit to anything. But this is a game that I think both teams to score is probably a good look. I need to look at the price to see if it's even in a playable range. But goals, both teams to score. Minus 118. Yeah, I think. Excuse me. If that's a playable number for you, I think that's probably a good look. If you're looking for goal scorers, Arthur Cabral, he has scored in 4 straight. He's pretty hot right now for Fiorentina. I think that would be my look on their side of things. On the Milan side of things, we don't know for sure who's going to be up there. I would think, we'll see some combination of Giroud. I know that Leao is suspended for this match, so that opens up a spot on the left wing. Maybe that's Rebic's spot. Maybe that's they've been playing Teo Hernandez a little farther up. Maybe he plays in that spot. It's just kind of a hold and wait and see for me. But yeah, Milan, I think can go there and get a goal. I do like their current form. I know Ibra is getting close to playing too, so that'd be exciting. Maybe if Ibra can get a game. PSG play on Saturday too. They are hosting Nantes. They are a pretty hefty favorite, as you would expect. Can't really play them on the money line, but you just have to get creative here and find ways to play them because they're just too talented. I think that Messi assist is always got some value. Messi and Mbappe combo cashed people out against Marseille, so I'm hesitant to go right back to it, but I think that why not? They're at home. I would expect them to play. Mbappe for a goal. And he's back-to-back games. He's scored 2 goals, so fantastic form here. Uh, Messi's also scored in two straight games, so I just think that continues. Neymar obviously still out hurt. Verratti is suspended in midfield there, so maybe we see Zaire Emery, the 16, 17-year-old kid, come in. He's a good little player. Scored against Monaco a few games back. He'd be a fun one to take a flyer on if he's in the game. Just maybe a to score or assist type of a thing. But yeah, PSG probably get a couple, 2 or 3 goals and win this thing. But yeah, attack it by playing those frontline players. Looking at the rest of the slate, nothing too crazy in the major leagues. Obviously, a massive MLS slate on Saturday. I'm not going to go through all those games for the sake of time. It's we just have to pick and choose. Keep this just the Europe, the big four leagues for the most part. Sunday, switch over. Forest host Everton. That's a relegation 6-pointer. I would lean Forest. Everton, just got humbled. They lost 4-0. They'll probably put in another defensive performance and try to keep the score down. But Forest just have enough good. I really like their signings that they made. Keylor Navas in goal is crazy that they've got him in there. But yeah, I mean, Gibbs White, Brendan Johnson, I think they'll have enough to give this Everton back line some trouble. They're mobile. And yeah, I mean, I guess, you would think Michael Keane drops out and Connor Cody comes back in next to Tarkowski. They'll just try to pack it. Decore, Guy, and Onana. None of those guys are really that creative. They're just, athletic kind of destroyers there in midfield. And so I struggle to see where they're going to score outside of a set piece. They're just bereft of goals right now. Neil Maupay is he's an okay player. He's more of a second striker. They really need a fit and firing Calvert-Lewin if they're going to have much of a goal threat. And right now, they don't. So that's why I would lean Forest and take a peek at the price on that, just so it's not crazy. Yeah, +165, I think, is a good look. Take Forest there. But